Hey there, it's Delilah, and welcome to my first ever addition to this series. I don't have time to edit, and I definitely don't have time to come up with a name for this series. Where sometimes I just want to sit down and I want to chit chat with you guys about stuff going on in media and pop culture and freaking whatever, and I don't want to make it a whole production, you know? I just want to talk. Eventually, this will become like a second channel thing, but if I don't have time to edit and I don't have time to come up with a name for this series, then I definitely don't have time to make a second channel right now. So I actually did try to make a second channel. I wanted to name the channel Delilah Derp because that's the name of my Instagram. And I was like, I can have a whole intro before I start my video on the Delilah Derp channel. I could say, let's get our derp on. And then, so lame. And then get into the video. That would be my little intro thing for my second channel. But the username was taken, so fuck you, Delilah Derp, on YouTube. But that's a me problem, not a we problem. You know what a we problem is, though? Gypsy Rose. That's gonna be a we problem this week. But before we get into it, if you're not already subscribed, please, pretty please hit that subscribe button. I know it's easy to just passively watch a channel and forget to hit that little button, but I would really super duper appreciate it. I'm trying to get 200,000 right now. I will be honest, my motives for wanting to hit it as bad as I want to hit it is just so that I can buy myself another family size cake. I've been looking at my local bakery website like every single day. I can't justify buying myself an expensive cake on just like a random Tuesday. Because if I let myself buy a whole $30 family size cake on just any average day, then I would eat a whole family size cake on every average day. And it would be a problem. And that's not a joke. It would be a problem. But let me show you this cake that I want to buy. I'm not kidding. I put so much thought into this. Look. Do you see my goosebumps? Please hit that subscribe button. I'm starving. And while you're at it, if you want to like this video, hype this video, if you want to leave me a comment about anything to talk about, we're talking about something that's actually genuinely, like, I'm trying to get my happy, fun, silly, whatever out of the way right now because this topic is it's a lot. You'll see. If you already don't know what I'm talking about, it's a lot. Okay, so we're going to get into everything right now, but I do want to say that this video is not going to be a comprehensive deep dive of the Gypsy Rose case. I'm going to be talking about the case as it pertains to the files, but I'm not going to give you a background of everything that happened in the case. That's not what this is. This is not a true crime video. This video is about the files that were released and familiarizing you guys with what's going on with that. And furthermore, we're going to be talking about the public, or more so TikTok's reaction to these files being released. We're going to talk about the memeification of it all. We're going to talk about popular narratives and very black and white conclusions that have gained a lot of popularity on TikTok. So that's what this is about. Let's get into it. So today, as you guys probably know, we are going to be talking about Gypsy Rose and specifically a little something that people are calling the Gypsy files. Y'all are fucked up for that. I need to know who comes up with that. Okay, I will be honest. Before I knew the extent of what the Gypsy files are, I did laugh at that title. But now, like, I personally would prefer to not call it the Gypsy files. I'll probably call it that in my title because that is what people are calling it, so people will be able to, like, find my video in this topic easier. I'm not calling it that because I necessarily agree with comparing Gypsy Rose to Jeffrey Epstein, right? Like, that in and of itself is like, maybe that's not, that's not, yeah. Anyways, so if you guys are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, basically, there was files. They weren't leaked. They were requested. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that you could just do that you could just be like, give me all the videos and shit that was shown in the court case, please. This is what it is. The Freedom of Information Act. FOIA. FOIA. Yeah, how to make a request. Yeah, you can just request stuff that's been shown in court. I don't know if that is the same for all court cases or how that works, but that's why these videos were released. There was over 100 videos. These are videos that she sent to her boyfriend at the time, Nick. That is the one that ended up unaliving her mother, Dee Dee. And there's a lot of like role play here. She's wearing different wigs. She's talking about different personas. She's giving these different personas names. There's the evil version of her, and she's wearing like a leather jacket, and she has a red wig. And she's talking to the evil version of Nick. She's meeting the evil version of Nick for the first time because Nick referred to himself when he went on to kill. I'm just gonna say kill. I'll just censor it. If it's unalive is so stupid, I don't want to say that. Oh, he unalived her with a pew-pew. Like, so dumb. But the version of Nick that killed Dee Dee was the evil version of him. This is very interesting from like a psychology perspective. I'm very intrigued by conversations like this. And I think in Gypsy's case, considering what we know about her and her upbringing, like all she has known is abuse and sickness, and she herself knew that she wasn't as sick as her mom would tell her she was. So like clearly that probably would create a sense of like a double life, and so seeing these personas are very interesting. Let me know what you think about that, because like I feel like it's more than just like, oh, Gypsy's being freaky, like she's role-playing, and like it's like I feel like it's gotta be some sort of like coping thing as well. I'm just gonna show some of these videos for actual context, because clearly the way I'm describing it, you guys are probably like, Nick, evil Nick, Gypsy, different wigs, evil Gypsy, what are you talking about? Like, yeah. I'm just gonna show some of these videos. And by the way, like I've seen some people, I saw one YouTuber talk about this situation and how he didn't feel comfortable showing the clips of Gypsy, the ones that were released. The reason why I'm showing them is because A, I'm doing an entire video on this where I'm talking about multiple clips, I'm referencing multiple things. B, these videos already have millions of views, so it's kind of just easier for me to show it. I'm clearly not very good at describing it. Like I feel like that's just extremely confusing if all I do is describe it. And then also, if all I do is describe it, you'll probably just go in and look this up. So like for me, since I'm talking about it, it's a lot easier to just show it, right? But I do understand that point of like, it's like, oh, these weren't supposed to necessarily be released ever, but they were. And there's a discussion to be had around them. Not to mention, there's some videos that I don't want to push under the rug because they've left people very, very reasonably concerned. And I feel like we should be able to talk about that. So that's another reason. Okay, so first series of videos that I'm going to show you has to do with the memeification of Gypsy Rose and of these clips. Just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you might know what I'm talking about and you might recognize these videos. Okay, so yeah, this one, for instance, it has 1.5 million. Okay, it has 1.5 million views, so like you might know this one.
Little bit insecure, I know, honey. I know you are. Don't try to deny it. I know you are a little bit insecure about your size. Don't worry, you don't have to be. 6 inches big enough. I know some guys with like, I mean, I don't really know some guys, and I really don't know if they're tiny, but I've heard of some with like 3-inch or 4-inch. So you're perfect for me.
In this home video of Gypsy, she is reassuring and comforting.
Oh gosh, I haven't even heard this audio yet. I thought this was the okay. Let's hear this
on some of his insecurities. This is a common topic they talk about a lot.
It's true.
Almost every video that is taken by Gypsy is her talking about something sexual in some sort of way.
That's also true.
It's clear to me these two are living in some kind of fantasy land. Gypsy then goes on to say she will support him in wanting to make himself bigger, which is confusing to me, because what do you mean? I don't think that's something that exists. But this, again, just shows the complete lack of understanding of life and immaturity these two had at the time.
But I think you're perfect the way you are, so I wouldn't change that.
I think there actually are things that you can do. I think you can get like an ejection, just in case you guys are curious. But like that video, for instance, that one has been seen a lot. Yeah, like just the video. Okay, I thought the original video had 1.5 million views. That means that the actual video probably has way more. I have to look up Gypsy files for it to come up. Okay, yeah, like for instance, what I'm looking at right now, I'm not showing it on screen, but she's literally like in her underwear. Like, I'm not gonna show that. Like, that's not that's not necessary. That shouldn't be like she's not properly clothed and she's like dancing in like a bra and underwear. Like, that's taking it too far, you know? I can't find how many views the original one had. Whatever. I have some more saved. Some more of the like funny-ish ones that you guys have probably already seen. Just to Jesus Christ, can I go to my saved? Stop playing.
If there was like a thingy where I had to pick everything out in my soulmate, I would choose your size of your package.
She's talking. Okay.
Your package. I would choose that size.
That's the end of that clip. Okay. Somebody commented and said, how much reassurance did this man need? And like, you know, you can see, like, I understand how people are seeing this stuff as, like, funny. Like, they don't understand the full context, they don't whatever, because, yeah, she has made multiple videos being like, no, I swear, your package size is perfect, I couldn't imagine anything more or less. My favorite number is 6, it's my lucky number, I was born on the 6th. So, like, when you just know these videos and you just look at stuff at a surface value, I suppose I get it. Another comment says, she was an abused child who is learning about life through the internet. Please give her some grace. She deserves peace. I hate seeing all the disparaging comments. Put yourself in her shoes. There is no perfect victim. Gypsy is a victim. Never forget that. She deserves grace. And I do agree with that. Like, there is... The reason I wanted to talk about the Gypsy Rose files specifically was because it's been a long time since I've seen something like this where there's so much nuance, like so many factors to this, factors that do feel as if they contradict each other are all true at once. Like, it's not often on the internet where you see something that is so divided. And also with the internet, people like to label stuff as like, this person is bad, this person is good, right? Like, nobody can ever acknowledge like, no, it is true that she's not a perfect victim. And I think that generally the internet would see all of this so much differently if the videos weren't cringy. Like, the internet does tend to love like a point and laugh, you know? Like, I think that people's takes around all of this would be a lot more serious and less big than it is if these videos weren't inherently at face value a little funny, a little cringy, a little shocking, a little whatever.
I do get horny during my period.
Oh, sorry. Oops. Actually, I don't even know if I want to watch this one. You can go find this video in your own time if you want to go find this video in your own time. But, like, I feel like I am trying to take this topic seriously and, like, we can't do all that. Let's go to the next video. So, like, in regards to the memes that people are making about it, like, here's one of them. Me whenever my best friend buys me something.
Hi, my master. It is your slave, Gypsy.
That's kind of disturbing. By the way, she said, hi, my master, and then she bowed, and then she said, I'm your slave, Gypsy. None of the comments are serious. I'm just gonna show a couple more memes just because, like, chances are, if you're unfamiliar with what I've spoken about so far, you've at least heard one of these audios. So, like, I'm gonna show a couple more memes because you might recognize these ones, and then we're gonna get serious. First we laugh, and then we serious. Ew, that's kind of cringy, sorry. First we laugh, and then we serious. This is another audio that's, like, gained a lot of popularity on TikTok. Sorry, I'm crocheting at the same time, so I'm, like, dealing with this fucking mess. Me acting like I work out, knowing I sit on my ass like a fat pig every day. Okay?
It will go like that. So it's not a pear, but it's a perfect hourglass. For my petite size, and I fully believe in fitness. I try and exercise as much as I can. I do sit-ups sometimes, but I can't do them too good. I like to dance, as you know. So these are all stuff I try to be fit, and I try not to have too much body fat.
Right. So that's if, like, that's another audio that you might recognize. So like I have this one saved, 1.2 million views.
It's a message for my perfect, brilliant Joker true love. I bet you're up to something perfectly deviant. And if I know you, I know that you'll be planning to take over the world. Watch the burn. But you can't do it without me. That's why you and I make the perfect team. So when we're in person, when we're outside of this pathetic city, we are gonna cause a mayhem and destruction like nobody's ever.
Right, so like if you know the context kind of more so of this, like she's referencing stuff relating to like running away with Nick. Like that was the plan. And like, you know, if you followed along with Gypsy's story, you would know the instance where she planned on losing her virginity to Nick. I believe that was when she snuck away at a movie theater. Okay, yes, they both met up in a movie theater bathroom. So Nick and Gypsy's relationship, essentially the entirety of their relationship, like took place behind Dee Dee's back. Gypsy would sneak on her little computer, she would make these little videos, she would whatever behind Dee Dee's back. There has been a lot of speculation because of the fact that there's so many videos and people are like, oh, did she have more access to technology than she let off? Or like, does her story entirely make sense? Does some of this information coming out make everything we know seem less reliable? And therefore, what does that mean, right? But like, as far as what we think we know, her relationship with Nick was behind Dee Dee's back. And especially her planning on running away with Nick, that was behind Dee Dee's back. And that's something that she's referencing in this video. I'll be honest, that speculation doesn't make sense to me. And it especially doesn't make sense to me because of videos like that we just watched where she's talking about running away with him. Why would she be talking about that in front of her mom? And then also due to just the nature of the videos in general, most of them are like so overtly sexual that it's like, well, obviously she's hiding this. And like, she's talking very loud. She's not like whispering in these videos. So to me, I feel like it makes the most sense that she's obviously filming this when her mom's not home. Therefore, that doesn't really change the story to me because people's speculation is like, from what we knew about the story, she had to sneak away to use a device. But like, did she have more access than what she let off because there's so many videos like this? No, I don't think so at all. I think that she very easily could and would still be hiding these videos and likely films them when her mom is not home. And then also further on this point, we have this video. This appears to be the first video that Gypsy sent to Nick.
I saw your videos and I love them, of course, and you really made me smile and made me feel a whole lot better because we're so far apart. So it's nice to see you, and I'm sure it's nice to see me every once in a while.
So like right there, for instance, every once in a while, implying that no, she's not filming these videos every single day, like all the time.
I'm not good at doing videos. I get nervous. What am I doing here? Well, it's a Saturday night and I'm home alone.
So like in one of her first videos to him, she addresses the fact that she's filming this while she's home alone.
Just doing a video for you. Bye.
Another point that I want to make about this, not only like, yes, I wanted to address that speculation from people in comment sections about like, oh, she must be lying about everything and everything. This entire case, throw it away, get them back in court. Like, that doesn't really make sense to me. But another point that I want to make about this, she's so awkward in that first video. And to me, what that indicates is that I don't believe this was Gypsy's idea. She's literally being like, oh, I'm so weird in front of a camera. Why would it be her idea just for her to then get in front of the camera and be like, I don't know what to say right now? And also, in that video, she's responding to videos that Nick sent her. So I really feel as if this was Nick's idea. Not that that changes much right now, but I am going to go on to talk about kind of the public perception of Nick and more opinions that people are having surrounding Nick, surrounding Gypsy potentially manipulating him and kind of like infantilizing him. Just keep that in mind that the videos seem to be Nick's idea. That's my interpretation. Okay, let's keep watching.
I am a slut.
Alrighty. Oh God. Oh Jesus. Was not expecting that.
I am a slut, but I do have an evil streak. I can torture somebody. I can do anything except a few things, which is I can't hurt Gypsy's mother. Like, I can't physically harm her.
So, like, you see what I mean about, like, these personas, right? Like, she literally just spoke about herself in the third person. I can't hurt Gypsy's mother. Like, these are very much like when she makes these videos, she is somebody else. Also, clearly, it seems as if the context of this video has something to do with, like, Nick wanting her to do certain things, and she's like, I'll do whatever for you, but here's my rules. I can't hurt Gypsy's mother. I can't XYZ. I can't do this. I can't do that. But, like, I'll do whatever for you.
I can't physically harm her. And I can't Nick.
She said, by the way, it, like, kind of cut out. She said, and I can't hurt Nick. So she's even talking about Nick as if he's a different person.
And I'll take whatever punishment you may give me. But I can't. I just can't. If you want to beat me, beat me. If you want to hurt me. But just...
Right. If you want to beat me, beat me. And I don't think she does mean in the literal sense. I think the vast majority of these videos are very sexual. Like, all of this stuff is like a stuff. Her calling him master, her saying she's a slave for him, she worships him. It's all like a related thing. Okay, we are fully done, I believe, with like the memes / what you might recognize this stuff from. I tried to collect just like the most popular ones. Like, I saw one of them, I'm pretty sure had like 8 million views, and then there was another one that had like 7 million views. So like, these are kind of huge, and that's why I tried to show those ones. And then the other ones that I showed were ones that contextualize the next discussion that we're going to be having. So, like, just know my point here isn't to just, like, watch a bunch of memes with you guys and, like, point and laugh. I only showed 2 of the most popular ones, and then a couple ones that actually add context to what we're going to be talking about. But as for the memeification of the whole situation, I'll give my takeaways on that right now. I will say, firstly, I get it. Like, I understand these videos are very shocking, and a lot of the language she uses is very, she's talking in a actual way, or like trying to be actual, but without the knowledge of how to speak in a sexy way. So it just comes off as very blunt, and some people find that funny. It is sad to think about, though, when you realize that it really does come from a lack of just overall life experience that she had. And I do truly think that this wouldn't have garnered as much popularity as it did, and that this whole situation wouldn't have garnered as much popularity as it did if she wasn't speaking in kind of a cringy way. That's solely the reason why people care. That's solely the reason why people are talking about it. That's solely the reason why some of these videos have gotten tens of millions of views, and it's kind of like a point and laugh thing for a good handful of people. And I don't think that that's right, but I'm not surprised. And I will say further on that point, regardless of your opinion on Gypsy Rose, we're going to talk about some very alarming videos that she had posted where she's saying some really disgusting things, and you'll hear my take on that more, and you'll hear my take on Nuance more later on. But I think regardless of if you have decided now that you don't like her because of what she said, sure, but that doesn't make the whole memeification of this whole situation right. And I think that a lot of people don't understand the nuance behind stuff. So they see that someone said something bad and they're like, this person is the devil and they're the worst person ever and we're going to make fun of them in every single way. And don't worry, I am by no means going to defend what Gypsy said, and we'll touch on that later. But a reoccurring theme that we're going to talk about here is a lack of nuance. So because of this video of Gypsy that people really aren't happy with, reasonably so, it's very fucked up and disturbing what she said, but because of this video, people are just saying Gypsy's bad and she was never a victim and taking it to the most extreme level. And then they're also saying, and therefore these memes are fine, let's keep making fun of her and laughing at her because we don't like her. And so, yeah, that's the memeification of it all. Now we're going to pivot a bit more to this discussion that we've kind of been having surrounding this troubling relationship dynamic between Gypsy and Nick. And we're also going to talk about the main takes that I see people on the internet having. I've talked about a little bit of that a bit so far, but there's definitely more that people are saying. And then we're going to talk about my conclusion. So yeah, let's go on to talk about, like I said, this weird relationship dynamic between her and Nick. So as you guys have noticed, she has these different characters, kind of like in these videos. She has different wigs, she's wearing different outfits, and she acts in different ways. Some of these videos she seems, you know, like there's a video of her like bowing and crying and being like, please forgive me, master, blah blah blah. And then there's videos of her being more like dominant, I guess, so to say. These are all like, and I talked about in the beginning of these videos, like this is a series of like heavy role playing, and these different personas have names, they have like different morals, different everything. So we're gonna introduce our first persona. I almost said fursona. Imagine. She was ahead of her time. No, we're gonna introduce her first persona, Demonia. And it's a bunch of Bologna. Sorry. It rhymed, so okay.
I'm the fun Demona, and I'm the powerful part of her. I'm the fun part of her. I'm the part of her that she went and survived with in 5 minutes without me. I'm the reason that she has you.
Right, so that's Demona. I didn't show you guys that video for no reason. I showed you guys that video because Demona is a persona that we see a few times, that I guess is like a reoccurring character in the Gypsyland system. So we'll just go ahead and watch this next video of her as Demona. She's wearing a different wig. She doesn't stay consistent with the wigs in these characters. But she's Demona in this video apparently. So we're gonna go ahead and watch that now.
Hi, my wonderful, amazing, absolutely sexy master. It is your one and only Demona, your slave.
Minutes.
Well, today is our happy 1-year anniversary. And, I'm so excited. This past year has been amazing. It has been the most wild, almost kind of like
Who is yelling in the back? Who is screaming in the background? Did somebody just yell help?
almost.
Does that not sound like someone yelling help?
And what makes us so unique from other couples is that you and me have a vampire and human relationship. And I know that there are probably female vampires out there, but I'm very happy that you went for me.
It like reminds me of when I was like a child and I would like pretend to be like a vampire and I'd be like, Delilah's not here right now. I'm whatever. And like in my head, I genuinely like had this little like fantasy, or like I would act like, you know, like that's like very much what it reminds me of. It's like they're fully, and I don't know if it's like a way, because like also further context, she's an adult in these videos, just so you know. So like I don't know if this is like some sort of way that like trauma is manifesting itself into her like adult years, because usually adults don't typically engage in such heavy everyday role play. That's not like an average like, oh, I go to my 9 to 5 and then I put on my wig and I role play as the evil version of myself and send videos to my boyfriend. That's not, you know, I do feel as if some of this stuff has to relate to trauma. I've seen some stuff about like age regressing. I don't know whether or not that has a part to play. I think the way that she speaks in these videos just go to show a lot of like immaturity in regards to relationships. I mean, she couldn't leave the house. she never had a relationship. She never, a lot of us like graduate from like these types of cringy stages when we're in like public school, but like she didn't get experiences like most of us. So yeah, it does make sense that even as an adult, she talks about relationships and stuff like this in a very immature and naive way. That literally makes perfect sense. And don't worry, I'll talk about the nuance of that. Like, I am not here to defend. Like, I will not defend some of the stuff that Gypsy goes on to say. If you know the extent of what she goes on to say, just know that right here, right now, I'm not going to be defending that off the basis of like, oh, she just has a lot of trauma. So when I talk about trauma, I'm referring to like these personas rather than trying to talk about trauma to justify some of the stuff that she does go on to say. So, yeah.
I view us as kind of like twins. Twins, if one of them gets cut, let's say that one of them like cuts their finger, the other twin will feel it and be like, that's weird, I didn't cut my finger. But then they'll talk to their other twin or whatever, but their finger got cut. And that's how I consider us almost. Even though we're so far apart, if one of us is hurting, the other will hurt. And so if like you hurt, I'll hurt. And it's hard being away from your soulmate because it feels
kind of sad, y'all. The stuff that happened to Gypsy is objectively really sad. Most of us can't even begin to put ourselves in the shoes of that. Like, you can't even begin to imagine, right? And like top comment says, God forbid a victim isn't perfect and innocent after years of abuse and grooming. And it is true. Like, I'm going to show the more problematic clips momentarily, but as far as this stuff goes, if it was just this stuff, I probably wouldn't even make this video because it's just a bunch of cringy videos of her. Whatever. Don't care. I like that. Like, these videos that we're watching right now, that doesn't change anything for me. What, she was like cringy and like really sexual, and she may have had more access to a phone or to a camera than we thought, but we don't even know that. We can't, like, that's just an assumption. These videos could have been taken when Dee Dee was out of the house. I doubt that Dee Dee was sitting right beside her when she was filming these fucking videos like, hi my master, I'm a slave to you. Meanwhile, Dee Dee's right there. Like, obviously she still hid this type of stuff from Dee Dee. So like, these videos in and of itself, that doesn't change anything for me personally. You can let me know your thoughts, but like, if this was it, then this is just a big wad of nothing. Okay, let's keep watching.
It's hard being away from your soulmate because it feels like you don't know what's happening to them in that moment, but then when you know that they're alright, your mind is at ease and you just feel a whole lot better. And I feel like I'm linked to you, mind, body, and soul. And I know I've made some mistakes. Recently, me and Gypsy forgot the password for our Facebook, and we just changed it without even telling you or asking you if it's okay.
I'm gonna be honest, this relationship is quite concerning. Like, the implication here is that this isn't just role play, like, this is controlling behaviors that take place outside of like role play dynamics, like her changing the password to her Facebook without asking him permission. That's alarming. That's not very indicative of a healthy relationship. Not that much about the relationship was, but it is interesting.
And we just changed it without even telling you or asking you if it's okay. And that was a bad move on our part. You know, it's not fully my fault and it's not fully her fault. It's both our fault.
You see how she kind of avoids accountability in this way, though, with these, like, can I say, like, alter egos? It's like a role play, but, like, I'll say alter egos because I'm pretty sure that's, like, synonymous with what she's doing. And one thing that rings very true and clear to me is that Nick's evil alter ego that killed Dee Dee is very clearly his way of separating himself that did that, right? And I mean, most people, I think if they were in a situation where they did something like that to somebody else, that would make sense to feel a need or to want to separate yourself from the person that did that, which was you. Most human beings, if they do something like that, they literally have to cope in some sort of way, whether that be lie to themselves about it, excuse it, separate themselves from it completely. Like, you know, it's the same way how, like, our brain, when we do something like that, like, completely will, like, get rid of those memories and block that trauma. It's all a way to cope. It's like a survival tactic from our brain. And so, like, this clearly to me is their way of, I guess, like, living with themselves in a way, you know, or separating themselves from potential harmful action. Not that Gypsy changing her Facebook password was, like, a harmful action, but, like, you catch a glimpse of that here. So that's an interesting discussion for sure.
You know, you're in charge of everything and you have complete control over us. You're responsible for everything, our health, our safety, our happiness, just everything. Everything that you've done is to make us be stronger women and make us
women, plural,
the women that we know we can be. And it's your dream, woman. And that's what we want to be. I'm your slave. So my sole purpose is to please you, and if you need anything, that I'll be there for you, whether it's emotional support or if it's a sexual desire, like to fulfill that desire.
It really does reflect on, like, the relationship dynamic a little bit here with, like, the whole I'll be here for you when you're angry, whether that means being someone to talk to or letting you have sex with me. There's clearly a very unhealthy relationship here. Like, there's clearly, and I think that people kind of infantilize Nick a lot. A lot of people talk about him having autism spectrum disorder and talk about how Gypsy is some, like, huge master manipulator. But like I said, gosh, all of this stuff seems so much more nuanced to me. Like, I think, yes, Gypsy probably would have had to manipulate him a bit, or I guess in other words, depending on how you want to frame it, like, convince Nick to kill Dee Dee. I don't know, though. A lot of people can't just be manipulated within a short time span to someone a bunch of times and then want to sleep with their body, you know, like I don't think there is literally anybody, I don't think a single person here is innocent. Like, not one single person. Like, there's so much nuance here that so many people are overlooking. Like, I think that Gypsy could have manipulated him, but at the same time, I think he's kind of a twisted person as well. Like, I couldn't ever be manipulated to kill someone because I could never, like, most people couldn't, right? So it's, like, so much more nuanced than people are, like, talking about. And yes, there are different levels to autism spectrum disorder. I don't know personally what level I am because we don't do that in Canada. As someone that also has autism spectrum disorder, I am more susceptible to manipulation. So, like, I can somewhat at least speak from a stance of, like, you don't get diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm totally down to kill someone and then want to sleep with their body. So, but anyways, more on their troubling relationship. We now have a video of Gypsy detailing how she's gonna our word Nick rhymes with grape. That, yeah, you heard me right.
As far as Nick, there are lots of ways I can do that. I can tie him to a chair. I can tie him to a bed. I can tie him to anything.
So, okay, like, obviously, very troublesome, very alarming, very, what do you mean as far as our wording Nick? I could tie him to a chair, I could tie him to, like, what do you, no, but, like, what do you mean? Hey, so, that's not, what do you mean? I will be honest, I'm gonna say, this is my opinion. The way that she's filming this video, her saying, as far as doing this to Nick, I could blah, blah, blah. She's sending this video to Nick. This is a video for Nick. I genuinely feel like that comes from, like, Nick having some sort of fantasy about that and wanting her to make a video on how she would do that. Because otherwise, A, why would she say that unprompted? B, why would she send the video to Nick? Right? Like, that's what makes the most sense to me. And furthermore, okay, if you're not down with the whole idea that, like, Nick is the one that's, like, either teaching her these terms or, you know, he's the reason why she's going out of her way with all these different personas, some in which are displayed as more dominant, some of which are more submissive, calling him master, etc., etc. This next video that I have is Gypsy filling out a literal Quizlet that Nick made, a test on their kinks in their relationship / actual dynamic. So, and before we get into this, like, I am showing you guys my reasons as to why I have formed this opinion. The whole thing about this situation in general is we don't know, like, anything. So this is how I interpret this stuff. Like, it's not confirmed. Anything that I'm saying is not confirmed. It's my own speculation based off of what I'm gathering from these videos and from my research.
Because in fact, I remember, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking or just answering them.
See, like, that's a weird little detail just right off the bat. I don't know if I'm even supposed to be talking or just answering, like, the quiz questions. Why would she say that if there wasn't some sort of weird controlling of sorts dynamic going on here?
I remember us discussing that the proper position for me to present myself to my master is in a like a kneeling on my knees. So that's something I remember. So I hope I got that right. What is the most sensitive parts of a male and female body? A, penis and vagina. B, penis, vagina, and boobs. C, penis, vagina, boobs, armpit, feet, balls, and butthole. D, all of the above. I'm gonna answer D. Now the third question. What is the main purpose of a slave to her master? To please him, to serve and please him, to obey, serve, please, and keep him content. D, all of the above.
Right, like, this is clearly a quiz thingy that Nick literally wrote for Gypsy to respond to.
D, all of the above. What type of relationship with your true love has your current master been training you to be ready for? A, a BDSM one. B, a DDLG one, daddy dom little girl. C, a master slave one. D, all of the above. D, all of the above.
And, like, she's confident in that answer. Like, and that goes on to explain, I think she lists some more in a moment, but that goes on to explain further, like, these personas, like, hang on, I think she says more.
Oh, sorry, that was type. Total power exchange, kind of master slave, daddy dom little girl, dominant submission, BDSM, top bottom switch owner, servant kind of sexual relationship for your true love. D, all of the above.
So she goes on to list the whole fucking race purity test, you know, like the BDSMtest.org, plethora of things. What type of relationship do we have? Daddy, dom, little girl, BDSM, top, bottom, switch, the whole array of stuff. So to me, what that tells me, based off of the fact that Nick is the one that wrote this quiz for her, and based off of the fact that, like, she even messes up her words saying the words BDSM, like, that paints a picture to me that I personally don't think that Gypsy was the one that came to Nick with all these different, like, hey honey, I did some Googling last night while my mom was asleep, and now I know the encyclopedia of actual kinks, like. And then also the fact that she says the words, what is Nick training you to be?
What type of relationship with your true love has your current master been training you to be ready for?
That speaks to me even more so that Nick has kind of like normalized this lifestyle and these kinks for her, as he would inherently have more relationship experience than Gypsy. As far as we know, like, she's at this point very housebound by her mother, Dee Dee, and has never been in an actual relationship. And so that further explains these different personas to me. Some of them are dominant, some of them are submissive, some of them are feeding into fantasies about like R word and stuff like that. Like, I think that Nick has more to play in this than people attribute to him. No, that does not mean that Gypsy is completely innocent, and we're about to watch some videos as to like some really bad videos of some stuff that she says that's kind of, it is inexcusable regardless on if Nick is normalizing this type of relationship for her. But this video that we're watching just solidified to me that, like, oh, this is Nick's the mastermind behind this stuff specifically.
So my master, that concludes this part of the test, which is the paper exam. And I will be looking for your instructions further on Facebook. Thank you so much for teaching me all you have. And I can tell that it's definitely paying off because I know some of these are right.
Right, like she's also talking about it in a sense of like, oh, I'm learning stuff from you. You know?
Good night, my wonderful master.
This is the granny square that I just crocheted, by the way. If you guys have seen me crocheting, look how cool. I'm gonna make a blanket to hide in after watching these. Shelter myself from the world, perhaps. Okay, so while I'm talking about issues related to Nick, context for this next video that we're about to watch, Nick has been arrested before. Before he was arrested with everything to do with Dee Dee. He was arrested in 2013 for, how do I say this? Jorking it. In a McDonald's for 9 hours. For 9 hours straight. He was arrested for disorderly conduct and carrying a concealed weapon. And I'm not gonna lie, no matter your stance on how manipulative Gypsy was and what her intentions were in this relationship with Nick, you know, if she was some master manipulator and her whole plan was just to lead Nick on for years just to eventually convince him to murder Dee Dee, like, no matter how manipulative you think Gypsy is, I personally don't think that, nobody made you masturbate for 9 hours straight in a McDonald's. Sorry, I don't think anybody manipulated you into doing that. I'm gonna be really honest.
I don't think that the judge will make you serve jail time for something as simple as carrying a pocket knife.
So, like, she's referencing the fact that one of his charges did end up being carrying a concealed weapon. So, yeah, he did get in trouble for doing that. But clearly he voiced to Gypsy, like, holy shit, I did this, I was caught, I was also carrying a pocket knife, what's gonna happen to me, blah blah blah. And this is Gypsy like trying to comfort him about that detail.
You don't go to jail for that.
You do. You do.
But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is that no matter what happens, I will always be yours forever. I'm 100% honest and true to only you and Master.
It does seem like more and more so the more that we watch these, it becomes very apparent that like Gypsy has a plethora of different personas, whereas Nick just has him and Master, or Evil Nick. We're gonna watch a video later of when she first introduced herself to Evil Nick.
Even if you're sentenced to jail time, make sure, this is a direct order from your wife, make sure to tell Allie what prison and the address, because I will write to you.
I don't know who Allie is. I'm gonna be honest. It might be Nick's mom or something.
And I will write to you. There won't be a day that goes by that I won't think about you. And just last night I dreamed about you. Dreamed about us cuddling and being together, being happy. And I know that we're a long distance apart, but distance can't keep love apart. And it won't keep me apart from you. I love you and adore you so much, and I always will, no matter what. And nobody and nothing is going to come between us. Now, in my mind, probably all you're going to get is a fine, and probably the 6 months you have to stay away from McDonald's.
And probably the 6 months you have to stay away from McDonald's is diabolical. I hope this man never steps foot in a McDonald's. Well, I mean, he won't now, but like, what?
Remember to be respectful to the judge, and remember your manners, and do as they say, because in that position, they're a bit of a higher position than you are, and they have your fate in their hands. So make sure you come home to me, please. That's all I ask, is just be calm. Don't let Master out, because I know Master has a way of being authoritative, and that is attractive to me, but it won't be attractive to the judge. So just please do as they ask. Don't complain. Don't, just be on your best behavior. Please do that for me. Please come home safe soon.
I think clearly Gypsy's kind of referencing, and she would know Nick better than any of the rest of anybody, including me, including everybody that's been speculating in the TikTok comment section. Clearly she's alluding to some emotional regulation issues that Nick has.
I love and adore you, and I will be keeping you in my thoughts and in my prayers, and I will be faithful and loyal. I made my vows, and I will stick to them like PB&J. So, I love and adore you, my wonderful, handsome king. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, I want to make it clear again that this video is not supposed to be a hit piece on Nick. It's really not. I'm just talking, this is a segment of my video where I address the fact that people have been infantilizing him, very much so. And, you know, some of the popular discourse that I've seen on TikTok is this thing about, like, Gypsy being a master manipulator, and that's why Nick went on to kill Dee Dee. Like, the reason why I show these videos aren't to paint Nick in a bad light. However, I do think that Nick has normalized this weird sexual dynamic with Gypsy. He's naturally had more relationship experience, and he does seem to be the one that asked Gypsy to start filming these videos in the first place. He seems to be the reason why Gypsy has these different personas that she's portraying, because she's catering to these different kinks that he has. I think he plays more of a part than people like to act like he does, because the internet likes there to be a good guy and a bad guy. The internet loves there to be a good guy and a bad guy, but sometimes everybody just fucking sucks. I think Nick is horrible and perverted, and it is a nuanced situation, because even if Nick has normalized these things for Gypsy, she also still said her own fair share of perverted and disgusting things that we're going to get into right now. So, if you think I'm riding hard against Nick, trust me, I have plenty of things to say about Gypsy as well. So, this is the main file that everybody is talking about. This is what really sparked the discussion and shifted the public perception of Gypsy. Like, even people that were on Gypsy's side are like, holy shit, hold on. She's not the person that we thought that she was. She's not the person that has been portrayed in media, has been portrayed in, you know, the act or like the movie about her, and just like that she generally has been considered to be. It gets bad. It gets real bad. Okay. I think I'll give a trigger warning right here for CSA, child sexual abuse, or like topics of CSA, I should say. So bear that in mind. And again, before I say this, even if this video has to do with Gypsy catering to some sort of that Nick may have, this video is still disgusting and disturbing, and I still, like, I may talk about nuanced situations regarding Gypsy and regarding Nick and regarding, like, oh, Gypsy said she's gonna R-word Nick, but she sent the video to him. And also, look at this, like, Quizlet that he made for Gypsy that has to do with a bunch of different BDSM kinks and stuff relating to that. Like, I think that the R-wording video was her, like, talking about some fantasy that Nick has, in my opinion. But, like, regardless, even if I were to give Gypsy the utmost benefit of the doubt here and say, in this video, maybe she's catering to some sort of that Nick has, that still doesn't matter to me because this video is disgusting. So,
if we have a girl, she has to lose her virginity to you.
If they have a girl, child, she has to lose her, you know, to Nick, presumably the father. Yeah.
To you, because you are the master of the household. So, I'm gonna have to explain that to her whenever she comes of age where it's time to explain it. Other than that, like when she's 7, I won't explain that, but around 13, I'll explain.
Oh, great to see that you have some morals here, Gypsy. Obviously, I'm not going to explain that to her when she's 7. I mean, that would be ridiculous. Like, that's disgusting. I do have another video of her talking again about this situation at length, of her elaborating on this plan of her husband taking her daughters.
You will bear your children, and whenever they come of age, we can both talk to them about how our family is and how it's different from other families, because that was worrying me a lot. Because you don't want our daughter to come home and the police come with her and say, and, you know, arrest you or something like that.
Because the plan is for him to take her daughter's V card. So don't worry, we'll condition and groom our child into thinking that this type of stuff is normal so that she doesn't tell anybody about it. She's like thinking this out and detailing a plan. That's disgusting. It doesn't matter if Gypsy's been manipulated. That's still really fucked and concerning at the very least. At the very least, it's concerning.
And how it's different from other families, because that was worrying me a lot. Because you don't want our daughter to come home and the police come with her and say, and, you know, arrest you or something like that for our way of living. That's my biggest fear, is that our way of living gets out to the public and both of us get arrested, and then, you know, our whole fairy tale just ends in tragedy.
That's your fairy tale?
And I don't want that to happen. So we need to be vigilant and teach our children to keep our family secrets in just our own home.
We need to be vigilant and teach our daughter to keep our family secrets in our own home. Yeah.
In our own family.
Yeah, that's the end of that clip. I saw a comment about this. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Nicholas, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, never had a daughter together, but during the time of their relationship, the name Aurora was discussed as a potential name for their child. Okay? Gypsy, now, present day, 2026, she does have a child. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's daughter is officially 1. The 34-year-old celebrated her daughter Aurora's first birthday. She went on to name her child Aurora. Aurora was the name of the daughter that Gypsy roleplayed her future husband taking the virginity of. And she went on to name her literal child Aurora. Yeah. So needless to say, this stuff is inexcusable. And especially due to the fact that, like, Obviously, Gypsy, I don't think she's going to. I really don't think she's going to address this anytime soon. I've seen some stuff about her trying to take down clips, content. This video is under fair use, by the way. Clips, content, etc. That seems to be all that she's doing about this. And obviously, from a PR standpoint, she probably has been advised to not talk about this stuff. But that does make it understandable why people are inclined to speculate about it, because there's a fucking video of her talking about how she's planning on letting her husband take her daughter's virginity, her daughter Aurora's virginity, and then she goes on and has a daughter and names that fucking daughter Aurora. So it is very fucking reasonable that people are concerned for the well-being of this child of hers. People are reasonably concerned about her daughter's safety, right? And she hasn't said anything about it. So to go out of your way to give someone the benefit of the doubt when they, in this video, are talking about, oh, we're going to keep it a secret, we're going to tell our daughter this is normal behavior, we're going to make sure this stays in the family. I've given her plenty of grace when it comes to the rest of the clips, but this is really disturbing, and I care more about Gypsy's potential daughter's safety than giving Gypsy the benefit of the doubt. And I do understand conversations around I guess I understand conversations around, like, just the standpoint of, you know, all the rest of these videos clearly come from a place of, like, she's catering to Nick's kinks and stuff. Very well, this could have been another twisted kink that Nick had that he wanted Gypsy to play into, but it's so fucking concerning that she talks about in detail a plan that she's come up with, that she references genuinely worrying about a future in which her daughter goes to the police, and that she's role-playing her daughter as someone named Aurora, and then she has a daughter and names it Aurora. That's, like, twisted. That's so twisted. And that's a large contributor to me making this video, other than just me becoming increasingly frustrated with people's lack of ability to wrap their head around concepts of nuance. But, like, that video is a large contributor to me making this video. And despite this clip still, despite everything throughout this entire video, like, an overarching theme here is that I have been speaking about nuance, and I have been giving Gypsy plenty and plenty of grace here, because she was and still is very much so recognized to be a victim of horrible, horrible things. And, like, I understand the standpoint of people not wanting to show the clips of Gypsy, or people just completely not wanting to touch on this in general, but at the same time, this narrative that we should all just shut up about it and not talk about it because these videos weren't supposed to be seen, they're out there now, and they're talking about child abuse. So how can you claim to care about a victim of child abuse such as Gypsy, so much so that you penalize people who dare to speak about or show these clips, but then at the same time, when you see a clip of somebody talking about planning to abuse a child, you're okay with sweeping that under the rug? And this narrative, like, it obviously comes from people being very protective of Gypsy and wanting to be respectful to her as a victim, and I totally understand that standpoint. But at the same time, going by the same theme of nuance in this video, and going by the idea that two things can be true at once, you can want to protect Gypsy as a victim, or even just the fact that these videos weren't supposed to be seen, etc., but the fact of the matter is that they are out, and there is a literal child here whose safety we have to consider. I don't know, in what other scenario would we normalize turning a blind eye to something like that? We don't do that in any other scenarios where people have been abused, etc. Like, she is an adult in this clip, and I think that this narrative does promote sweeping something like that under the rug. Like, there is a child's safety that we have to consider here, and I think that that's the most important thing here over anything else. So this narrative of, like, everybody just shut up about it, don't talk about it, don't show the videos, don't do anything, that feels strange to me. I will be honest. And I'm not trying to imply here that Gypsy is doing these things to her child, but what I'm saying is the narrative to shut up about all this stuff, when some of this stuff includes stuff like her talking about planning to commit CSA against a child, that narrative doesn't make sense to me. Because people are rightfully concerned. This is a concerning situation. So needless to say, I think they're both perverted. Even if she was like conditioned and manipulated into this, I don't have any faith in the idea that, let's say she did go on to have a child with Nick, that wouldn't happen. Like, in that scenario, I truly, genuinely believe that would happen. And then at that point, if something like that does happen, if a child actually does get abused, how much can you excuse that down to Gypsy was manipulated? She was still complicit and encouraged this, you know? But that's in a scenario where she ends up with Nick. What I hope is that, I can only hope that this is a result of just like feeding into Nick's twisted even though that's not right, but like, you know, the alternative would be that that's something that she wants to happen. So yeah, that is the whole like perverted segment of all of this. We have a bit more. We're now going to go on to some more disturbing videos, specifically pertaining to the murder of Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee. Okay, right, I talked about this video earlier of evil Gypsy introducing herself for the first time to evil Nick.
Hi sir, this is Ruby. I'm making this video as an introduction video. I'm the evil side of Gypsy. I probably couldn't match your evil, but I am the most evil side of Gypsy. Do I feel sorry whenever I get in trouble? No. I think that my caring is broken. Like the law I'm not scared of, and I'm not scared to push the boundaries with getting in trouble with the law. I am willing to do anything with you, sir. That includes murder. That includes beating up someone.
Like, even if manipulated, even if conditioned to say these things, do these, whatever, like, it's like she's an adult in these videos and like she's fully saying like, yeah, I'm totally chill with murdering someone with you, with raping someone with you, with harming someone with you.
If a girl tries to become your girlfriend or a girlfriend to Nick as a whole, she's dead. I'm gonna fucking her with pleasure. Lots of blood.
I mean, I think like Gypsy's clearly playing up a character a bit here. Like, I'm not taking everything she says here with that much face value, but like I will take some of it because some of it's really concerning. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird, and that's where the nuance like comes in, and that's where I'd love to hear your guys' opinion, because it's like she's clearly very much playing a character and playing it up. I will kill them with lots of blood. Like, she like is acting like a Disney villain. So do let me know your thoughts on that, because it's hard when it gets into all of these personas of her. It's hard to be like, what is real, what is not. I know that I will take the detailed plan of how she wants her husband to take her daughter's virginity seriously. Of course I'm going to take that seriously, because like there's an actual human child now that Gypsy has, so of course I'm going to take that seriously. But when it comes to other stuff, it's hard to know what's a persona, if the personas are fully like faked, if they're fully acting, or if they're ways in which Gypsy expresses different sides of herself and of her actual beliefs. Like, that's where it gets, the water gets muddied.
I'm gonna fucking her with pleasure. Lots of blood. Lots of gore. Because I'm gonna get my nails dirty. I will take a fingernail clipper and sharpen them up, because I will scratch. That is my signature mark. I scratch. So I don't only with or beat up with punching. I beat up, I kick ass, and I scratch. That's my signature trademark.
So that part obviously is like a persona, like that part's obviously fake, because as what we know, Gypsy hasn't killed someone prior to this video. Well, technically, like, she hasn't killed someone in general, but like, she's saying in this video, like, my signature move, the way that I signature kill people is by doing this. Like, that's obviously a character, but how much of this is a character? How much of this is her talking about like actual stuff that she's chill with? Because literally her and Nick go on to murder Dee Dee. Like, she obviously played a large part, and she went to jail for that. She was held, she was considered in a court of law legally accountable for contributing and facilitating the plan of murdering Dee Dee, right? So if that never happened, if she never Dee Dee, I could watch these videos and be like, oh, that's kind of alarming, but it seems like she might be putting on an act. I don't really know. But watching these videos with that context makes me further like how much of this is just an act and how much of this actually construes thoughts and feelings that she's okay with. At this point in time, Nick and Gypsy had come up with a plan for Nick to kill Dee Dee. And this is Gypsy talking about that. And then I believe that's all that I have, and we can wrap this up.
Hello, sir. This is Gypsy, and I'm making this video to you, sir. Nick's evil side. It's a pleasure to meet you. Sir, I just wanted to let you know that thank you so much for what you're gonna do for me, and
she's referring to him killing Dee Dee.
Thank you so much for what you're gonna do for me and for all of us, and that I do love you and I do respect you, and thank you again for doing this for us. I am so sorry that I didn't get all the ingredients that are necessary. I didn't get the taser because I thought that we were going to do one plan and then I ended up changing it. So please don't hurt me that much.
That's really disturbing. That's really disturbing. So yeah, this is when, you know, they had come up with their plan, and I guess Gypsy was supposed to pick up the proper ingredients, aka like the weapons and stuff for Nick to go on and do what he did. Her saying, please don't hurt me that much, that's super alarming.
I promise you that I won't fail you whenever I know that I'm supposed to do a specific task, sir, and I did end up getting a knife, and I hope that it will be adequate.
I believe she is referencing the murder weapon that was used.
And I got tape and handcuffs, and I hope that will do. And thank you again for doing this for us. And I understand that punishment is necessary for my mistake of not getting the taser, and so I accept that punishment, sir.
I will say that it does become evident in this video that it seems like Nick came up with the details of the plan, which kind of further for people being like, Gypsy's a master manipulator, and like Nick didn't want any part of this. Like Gypsy came up with all of this, and she manipulated him for years, and blah blah blah. Like we've touched on that a bit, but I don't think Nick is too fucking innocent here either, you know. And it does seem like she's responding to kind of like a detailed plan that Nick had.
And so I accept that punishment, sir. I'm not ready for such a big punishment, but I will take it because I worship my twin flame soulmate, sir. And I love and adore and worship him. So I will take this punishment because it is necessary, sir. Again, thank you so much, sir. And I look forward to seeing you in person.
And like, how twisted of Nick. Like, obviously Nick is a twisted person as well. I've clearly come to that conclusion. But like, how twisted of Nick to be like, you have to let me beat you. Sorry, it's necessary. And evil Nick is craving that. Like, clearly Gypsy didn't come up with like, oh yeah, after you kill my mom, you can beat me. Like, why would Gypsy come up with that?
Thank you so much, sir. And I look forward to seeing you in person. And I love you, sir. And since you are a part of my twin flame soulmate, I will grow to worship you too, sir. So, I will end this video now, sir. I love and adore and worship you, my wonderful twin flame soulmate. Good night, my everything. And I mean that as an all to you, sir and master.
was a really brutal watch. Like, people are saying stuff along the lines of, like, she's literally shaking in fear. Yeah, so, okay, let's get into it. Based off of what we just saw in that video, right, like, Gypsy does appear to be shaking. I don't know if she is just, like, acting out of fear. Like I said earlier, it's hard to know what is a persona and what is her actual emotions or morals or beliefs reflecting through. Does she use these personas to reflect her own beliefs, or is all of this some sort of act? Is all of this just something to play into Nick's fantasies? I personally do believe that these personas do stem from Nick's fantasies. I mean, especially based off of that video where we watched where he came up with this, like, Quizlet, and he referenced, like, I am training you to perfect the art of all of the kinks that I have, including BDSM, DDLG, Daddy Dom, little girl, Switch, Dom, Sub, all that stuff. And that does make the most sense to me as to why she has so many personas, some of which are more dominant, some of which are more submissive, some of which are this, some of which are that. That makes so much sense to me because Nick is literally referenced himself as training her. That to me explains the video in which Gypsy says that she's gonna R-word Nick. I believe that that was in response to, like, a fantasy that Nick had. That to me may explain the video of Gypsy saying that Nick can take their daughter's virginity. However, specifically in that instance, and due to the fact that Gypsy literally has a daughter, this context of all of Nick's kinks and stuff like that, that might provide an explanation. But at the end of the day, Gypsy was an adult in these videos, and it doesn't excuse. Some of this stuff might explain. It doesn't excuse. That's not okay. You know, not okay. I'm now going to talk about the popular narratives that I've seen on TikTok relating to all of these files being released. So the first popular narrative that I've seen on TikTok is that they should reopen the case. The reason why some of these people are saying this is because the story that we know has kind of shifted in some ways, at least for some people. You know, people talking about, like, oh, did she have more access to technology than she made it seem like she did? Me personally, I don't believe that. I believe that these videos were clearly filmed in, like, secrecy from Dee Dee. In the very first video she ever did, she addressed the fact that she was home alone, and also she's talking very loudly in, like, all of these videos, which indicates to me that she's probably home alone. People are also talking about her having access to different wigs and inappropriate clothing. And if she was so housebound and so carefully watched over by her mother, how did she obtain these different objects? As far as that goes, I get it. That does open questions that literally none of us have answers to. I could think of some reasons, but that's another reason as to why people are like, open the case. This situation seems different than what it was. I've seen some people in response to the narrative of, like, open the case. I've seen some people say stuff along the lines of, like, they already reviewed the case in court. They already saw these videos in court and they already came to their consensus. Obviously, the people in court had access to way more information beyond these files and they still came to their consensus. However, I will say, they didn't play these videos in court. Gypsy took a plea deal in 2016 for second-degree murder, which means that a lot of the files that have been released now were not presented in court, meaning that clearly her lawyer advised her that taking the plea deal would result in her spending the least amount of time in prison as possible, as, you know, lawyers do that. The goal of a lawyer is to either get their client to serve no time or the least amount of time possible. So the lawyer clearly advised Gypsy to just take the plea deal. And I understand people saying, you know, fucking reopen the case when it comes to, like, oh wait, these videos actually have a law and they might change a law and they weren't played in court. I understand it from that standpoint. I don't understand it from the standpoint of, like, reopen the case because clearly these videos show that she had more access to technology than she did. That doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, and that's my opinion about that narrative. I understand it, but also I don't understand it for the reasons that people are saying. that they should reopen the case. Okay, the next popular TikTok narrative that I've talked about a bit is that Gypsy is a master manipulator and Nick is completely innocent because he has autism, and clearly due to these videos, Gypsy is like a villain and horrible and facilitated all of this. My response to this, I think Gypsy easily could have been manipulative in ways, and I've addressed that. I think that she probably did have to convince Nick to do what he did, but like I said earlier, you can't manipulate someone into like stabbing someone a bunch of times and then wanting to sleep with their dead body. And also, Nick is clearly, to me, not a good person at all. I don't think that he's some like, oh, innocent little, like he was just manipulated. The way that Gypsy talks very candidly in these videos about like, please don't hurt me, that's alarming. I'm so sorry that I changed my Facebook password, master. That's alarming. I'm going to teach you about all of my kinks involving DDLG, BDSM, da-da-da-da-da. That's alarming. I do think that Nick is the one that introduced these concepts to Gypsy, and that Nick is like disgusting and perverted. He masturbated in a McDonald's for 9 hours, and I don't think that people actually think about like that. People think about stuff at such a surface level of like, oh, he did that in a McDonald's for 9 hours, haha, whatever. But like, actually think about that. 9 hours. Did this man eat? Did he, like, 9 hours? Actually think about that. That's deranged. That's deranged. And then also what it takes for somebody to stab someone a bunch of times and then want to sleep with their dead body. I do not think Nick is any sort of like an innocent victim here that was just manipulated. I think he's fucking deranged. However, at the same time, because two things can be true at once, a lot of the reason why people are like so heavily against Gypsy right now, especially has to do with that video of her being like, when we have a daughter, I'm gonna let you take her virginity. That is also fucking absurd and disgusting and perverted and not okay. Even if it comes from a place of Nick, you know, even if it were to be her like playing into Nick's fantasies and whatever, that is still disgusting. They talked about and they role played this daughter in which they would name Aurora, and then she went on to name her real fucking life daughter Aurora. What the fuck? That's disgusting. That's, you know, that's not okay. That's really fucked up. And then another narrative that I've seen a bit is that Gypsy was groomed and manipulated, and, you know, she was abused in horrible ways by her mom, which I do think is true. Like, obviously, like, I think her mom is a fucked. Refresh yourself on the case. Refresh yourself on the stuff that her mom did to her. She had to undergo multiple surgeries. I've seen some talk about that, but she still did undergo surgeries, even if she didn't undergo the amount of surgeries that we once believed she did, whatever. But, like, she had to undergo multiple surgeries. She thought she was younger than she was. She thought she had fucking cancer. Like, all she had known was sickness until she started connecting the dots that she wasn't as sick that her mom had been convincing her of. She had to then live a double life. I think her mom is fucking evil. Like, you know? But like, sorry, like what I was talking about is that Gypsy was groomed and manipulated, and, you know, she was abused by her mom, she was whatever, and the only thing that she was doing here was just innocently playing into Nick's fantasies because Nick was abusive and Nick was horrible, and therefore all of these videos, like, there's, you know, Gypsy is free of any criticism because these videos are clearly just coming out of her being afraid of Nick. All I'm gonna say in response to all of these narratives, my conclusion is that there is not one singular good person in all of this. Like, two things can be true at once. Gypsy can have been abused. Hell, Gypsy can have been abused. Nick can have been abused. Everyone could have been abused. Like, it even comes down to people talking about even, like, Dee Dee's mother was fucked up to Dee Dee, and that's why Dee Dee ended up being the way that she was. But no matter who was abused, everybody in this situation is, like, sucks. And that's okay. You don't have to be on team this side or team this side, or this person's a victim and this person's abusive, meaning that this person is completely innocent. You know that someone that's a bad person can also be abused. Gypsy, who I don't see as a good person, can also be abused. even if she may be a bad person. And I do think, like, on that, like, when you live the life that Gypsy had lived, and in the context of, like, who her mother was, in the context of, like, ways in which she was, like, so horribly abused, like, you and I can't even begin to put ourselves in the shoes of someone that had been lied to and had to undergo different surgeries and, like, was homebound and was not able to have a relationship for the vast majority of her life. And when she did want to start dating, she had to sneak away at nighttime and go on to some Christian dating site. And she couldn't make friends. She couldn't have relationships. She had to, like, secretly lose her virginity when she was, like, fully an adult, because if nothing changed with Dee Dee, I'm not saying that the was right or wrong, I'm not even going to talk on that, but if nothing had changed with Dee Dee, she would have been under Dee Dee's supervision for the rest of her life at the way that things were going, right? Like, nobody can begin to imagine what that even does to someone's psyche. So I think, to me, it's pretty obvious why Gypsy is also fucked up. Like, it's like, do you expect Gypsy to come out a well-adjusted adult after all of that? No. At the same time, that's a explanation, and it is never an excuse. The stuff that Gypsy said is still deplorable, and it is not an excuse. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean when I say that Gypsy can be a bad person, but she can also be a victim. So, yeah. My conclusion is that time and time again, I think the internet needs to understand some nuance, you know? I get it that people are kind of drawn to conversations in which you can, like, TikTokify it and not act as if this is a real case and not act as if this are real people, and just, like, pick a side of, like, somebody to trash on because people have fun trashing on people. People have fun grouping together to talk about their hatred for one specific person. But this case isn't that fun, because there's no one specific person that did everything wrong. Everybody did so much. Like everybody is fucked here, you know? And yeah, that's my take. Let me know if you like this format of video. It's not that different from most of my videos, in all fairness. It's just, like, I wanted to talk about something without it being, like, a full, extensive deep dive in which I get into every single detail and rehash the entire case and da-da-da-da-da. I wanted to talk to you guys about this subject because some people on the internet are making me lose my mind. Like, how do you guys not understand nuance? How do you guys not, how do you not understand it? Like, nobody here is 100% absolved of criticism, you know? And I do hope that her daughter is safe. And yeah, if you guys like this video, please like this video. That tells to me that you like the more, like, relaxed version of, I guess, deep dive, sort of, or just, like, that you like the more relaxed videos where I just want to talk about something and I turn on my camera and talk about it. If you disagree with any of my points, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Like, there's so much nuance to this discussion. Let's talk about it, for real. You can hype this video, I think. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. I hope this video wasn't too boring without any, like, fancy editing and stuff like that. But, if it was boring, just know that most of my content is not like this. If you didn't like this video, you should subscribe anyways, because most of my content is not like this. And yeah, I'm doing that thing where I yap for, like, 10 years at the end of my video. I'm not going to do a comment shout out in this video because I tend to stray away from the comment shout outs in my videos that are very serious. A, because my videos that are very serious are already so long most of the time. And B, because I don't want to go from, like, a super serious topic to being like, and this week's comment shout out goes to the, you know what I mean? So stay tuned for next week's video. There will be a comment shout out in that video. And yeah, please leave me a comment on your thoughts. I'm genuinely so intrigued to hear what everybody has to say about this. This is just my take, which is just overall that this is all more nuanced than people are acting like it is. So let me know what you think down below. I'm gonna stop talking now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.